Hello everybody, welcome back to the British Pokemon League show. I'm your host Matt Starr. Hope y'all are having a really great weekend thus far. We've got some really exciting games for everyone this weekend. Oh boy do we. We've got a top of the table clash between Newcastle Thundurus and Miami Heat, and we have a very exciting bottom of the table clash between Toed Star Belgrade and of course Inglorious Surfers. Welcome everybody. Hello Team Gamer. It's the funny Pokemon guy. It is, you're right. So I'm not going to waste any time. We obviously had quite a few exciting games go on last week. We're going to take a quick look at the league table just to keep you all updated. As you can see, perched right at the top there are Bulu Boys, joint top with Newcastle Thundurus, Miami Heat and Long Island Goomies. As if you remember last week, Bulu Boys were able to topple Inglorious Surfers in what was probably one of the most surprising games of the weekend. It was a very quick and done game. Newcastle Thundurus were able to beat Dogsy's Shadow Kings. Miami Heat were able to beat Gus's Aurora Akuno. And Long Island Goobies were able to beat Toed Star Belgrade. Every single game ending in a 2-0, a quick one and done fashion. There was one or two close games here and there, but you know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. There's for sure going to be some closer games this week. I can promise you that. As I say, as you can see there, Newcastle Thundurus will be playing Miami Heat today, and that's a hotly contested top of the table clash. We have, up next after that, we have Bulu Boys versus Shadow Kings. That could be a very interesting one. Obviously, Dogsy's Shadow Kings are going to be looking to really try and get back into that winning form. Obviously, still early days, only one game played, but you know, the better start of the season you make, the better. After that, we have the bottom of the table clash, as I've already mentioned, between Inglorious Surfers and Toed Star Belgrade. And finally, to round out this weekend's games, we have Aurora Akuno versus Long Island Goomies. Obviously, Silly's Goomies were able to topple Toed Star Belgrade last week. And Gus's Aurora Akuno are going to be looking at, again, a bit like Shadow Kings, trying to get that first win on the board and, you know, get some form rolling. First game of the week, we've got Newcastle Thundurus versus Miami Heat. Two very talented coaches. We've already talked through the teams last week, so I won't waste too many time talking through that. But obviously last week, Dave did not bring the G-Max Charizard, which I think ended up throwing off Dogsy from Shadow Kings quite a bit. I don't think he was really expecting that. And Dave played phenomenally well. You know, that patient gameplay really paid off. Was able to just wait it out until that Dust Noir had woken up. Dogsy couldn't get any of that damage off on the Dust Noir or the Aegislash or the Incineroar, and he was just able to win out, and it was a very solid victory. Whether we'll see that G-Max Charizard come out today, I don't know. You know, I don't know whether it matches up particularly well with Miami Heat. Obviously, the Heat team is an interesting one, but it's a solid team. You know, he's got Kangaskhan with that Scrappy and Cinderace with Libero, which was huge for him in that week 1 victory against Akuno. Beware as well really came in clutch. And you saw Kingler do a little bit of damage last week, so we might see that Kingler come out once again. On the side of Dave, you know, I'd be surprised if we don't see a few changes for sure. I would say that Ferrothorn probably doesn't come this week, but you know, you never know. Dave might have something up his sleeve for sure. On the side of Heat, you know, does he change the winning formula? I would say so. You know, he's going to want to change it up just to play around Dave's team. But we're not going to waste any more time. Let's get right into the game. So on the side of Thundurus, we've got that Charizard has come out this week. Azumarill, Ribombee. So he starts off with the Dusknoir and the Steelix, which we didn't see last week. And on the side of Heat, we've got Talonflame and Blastoise. Blastoise was not expecting. Obviously, he could potentially win the Power Herb, the Shell Smash. That Blastoise gets going, Dave is going to be in some serious trouble. Talonflame with Gale Wings, you know, if it can get Tailwind set up and they can nullify that Trick Room. And that Taunt comes out, that Trick Room's gone, the Water Spout hits, activates, Steelix is sturdy, doesn't quite go down. The red card though swaps out the Blastoise. Rock Slide comes in from Dusknoir and the Stealth Rock. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite go. I think Dave was maybe hoping the Stealth Rock would go off and when Cinderace got dragged in it would get damaged, but you know, there's still a great strat. It gets rid of that Blastoise who was possibly able to just sit there and water spout over and over again. great idea from Dave, you know, it's probably upset the apple cart on the side of Lat, and now Lat's going to have to really think what he wants to do. Type advantage wise, I think Lat still has it. Obviously that Dusknoir is taunted, so it's in a bit of a difficult spot, and he does swap it out. It brings in the Intim, which gets the Intim off, which would be really huge. That Steelix protecting, and the Heat Wave comes out from Talonflame, doesn't really do a lot, and the Pyro Ball from Cinderace, again, it's not going to really affect that Insane too much. What can Dave do on the side now Insane's out? He's obviously dropped the attack of that Cinderace and Talonflame. That Cinderace, if it gets a G-Max going, is absolutely, you know, unstoppable with Libero. You know, just that ability to change his typing to get those stab typing, stab effect moves off. You know, it could really cause some big issues on the side of Dave. But listen, we can't count Dave out. Obviously, it's still early days. It's still 4-piece. Obviously, that Steelix has got a very chunky defense and attacks that. You know, if it's armed with body press or, you know, heavy slam. It's going to do a lot of damage on the side of Lat. And he does swap the Dusknoir back in and gets that Frisk. The wide runs and pass are very revealed. Fake Out comes out from the Insane, that's huge. And Hurricane hitting, not in the rain. That is such a low accuracy move for it to hit there. Could be really big. The RNG coming in really clutch there on the side of Lat. And that's that Dusknoir down to just under half health. So what can Dave do here? He's obviously going to want to try and get that Trick Room set up, but you've got to remember the taunt on that side of Talonflame. You know, that Dusknoir is going to be completely nullified if it goes off again, and it's wide open to an attack. The Kingler does come out from the side of Lat, and out goes Insane. Steelix comes in, that taunt comes in again, that Trick Room is nullified on the side of Dave, and oh, that is Panic Stations now. It's still 4-piece, it's still a playful, but that's 2 mons on the side of Dave that are looking pretty low on health, and that Kingler, if it gets going, you know, with Crab Hammer, it's going to do a lot of damage. Quite a lot of damage indeed. Don't forget though, Dave potentially still has that Charizard in the back, albeit Junior. You know, that G-Max Charizard, if it can get going, if it's speedy. And the Instinct comes back in, that Instinct goes off, the Talonflame's attack drop, but Kingler with the Hyper Cutter, unfortunately doesn't get that attack drop. But unfortunately on the side of Lat, he does kill Incineroar Max Geyser. Latvian with a huge mistake there, an honest mistake. He D-maxes the Kingler, which is unfortunately against league rules. If you bring, as we talked about before, if you bring the G-Max to the board, you have to G-Max it. I don't think Lat was aware of this at the time. It's an honest, unfortunate mistake, but it is going to mean, after we reviewed the footage last night, it is going to mean that that Lat is going to have to forfeit this first game. Honest mistake, it happens. But we're gonna watch the rest of this play out. You know, we'll see what goes on. But Dave is gonna get that game 1 victory. But it's still being some solid gameplay. You know, again, really patient stuff from Lat and Dave for sure. You know, that taunt could still come out from the Talonflame if he's able to stop it. The Protect comes out from Dusknoir, stops that taunt, keeps Dusknoir on the field. The Max Break comes out and takes out the Steelix. Oh, that Kingler's doing a lot of work. If Lat hadn't brought that Cinderace, you've got to think that Kingler would have solidly won this game. That's 2 months he took out. That G-Max Charizard though now comes out on the side of Dave. And you know, I said if that forfeit doesn't come out, you know, it's still a close game. You know, there's no mons went down on the side of Lat, but you know, it's not been a washout. You know, it's turn 6, and both coaches have played this very patiently. We are going to see that G-Max, I think, from Dave here. And there it is, the Charizard goes big. Taunt comes out, that Dusknoir is nullified again. Max Airstream hits the Kingler, doesn't really do enough, it does get that speed buff. Max Geyser comes out, that is Charizard gone, and that is going to be the game. Dusknoir is able to take out that Talonflame. Kingler's just about hanging on, but you know, you've got to think that it's 3v1 in this situation. It's going to be game over. Blastoise neck comes out, it's going to hit that Water Spell, and that's going to be game 1. But unfortunately, they say Lat does forfeit that first game. Unfortunately, again, you know, can't say fair. It was a fair game. Lat played really well, but Dynamaxing that Kingler, I think, did change the game a little bit on his side, and you know, it happens. Oh, really loud. I'll tie it down. My bad, my dudes. Yeah, so that is game one. Game one goes to Thundurus through a forfeit. And we move straight on to game two. Is Dave going to bring a different setup this time? Are we going to see maybe that Gmax Charizard come out from the beginning? Is that Kangaskhan maybe going to come out on the side of Lat? You know, we saw that do a lot of damage to a Dusclops. To Dusclops last week. You know, that scrappy ability is really huge against the ghost types. Or are we going to see the Blastoise and Kingler duo come out again? Or is that Drifblim going to come in? That Drifblim could be really huge. You can't ever count it out. It's a strong Pokemon. We might see that Azumarill on the side of Dave. You know, Azumarill typically running with huge power. Gives it that attack buff. And that Fairy Water dual typing, it could be really big. You know, not that there's much Fairy type weakness on the side of Lat, but you know, just that the chance to run. And we do see the Azumarill and the Ribombee come out on the side of Dave. Now, what can that Ribombee do? Are we going to see anything magical from the side that Ribombee is, or is it going to be just mostly support? Talonflame and Blastoise does come out again on the side of Lat. Obviously, Dave is now aware that Talonflame is running the Pass Hole Berry, which does reduce water damage. So we'll see what Dave can do here. The Blastoise goes big. Tailwind comes out from Talonflame. Max steals back the Ribombee, takes it down to its sash and gives that defense buff. Sticky Web comes out. Scald comes out from the Azumarill. Pass Hole Berry comes in clutch from the Talonflame. He's able to live that just about. You know, he's got that defense buff, but not the Spadef boost there. So I think Talonflame probably, I don't think it maybe goes down, but you know, it's going to be in some trouble. Heatwave comes out and it misses the wrong mon, and that Ribombee goes out of there. Steel Spike comes out again from the side of Lat. Gets that another defense buff. Icy Wind coming out the side. David trying to slow that Latvian's team down, you know, get those speed drops. Out comes Steelix, the big rock boy. He's in a bit of an awkward spot there against that Blastoise, but you know, I think that there's certainly some damage that Steelix could do on the side of Dave. So it's 4 versus 3. The Protect comes out from the Steelix. Heatwave hits the Azumarill. That's not going to do very much. Max Geyser hits the Steelix, and through that Protect it just about lives. Dave scalds the Blastoise. It crits and it gets the burn. That's the attack drop on the Blastoise. That could end up being really huge. That's going to really nullify that Blastoise. Although, you know, what can Dave do on that side, you know, to stop that Blastoise going? You've got to think that there's maybe a Solar Beam / Max Overgrowth on the Charizard if he's brought it, but, you know, otherwise, is there anything you can really do to sort of stop it? Aqua Jet comes out, hits the Talonflame, it just about lives. That Hurricane hits in the rain. Water Spout comes out and it takes out the Steelix. That is 4v2. And it's looking very slow on the side, Dave. That Charizard comes out, but unfortunately any of its fire moves are going to be nullified in the rain. So it's in a bit of bother here, you know. If it's hit with a water move in the rain, that Charizard is 100% going down. I would think we're going to see that Gmax come out on the side of Dave again. Can that Azumarill hang on and do any kind of damage? We do see that D-Max Tailwind goes up again. Scald hits, not doing that much damage. The Max Overgrowth comes out and takes out the Blastoise. That's 1 mon down, 2 mon down. Talonflame goes down to the Skull from Azumarill, and it's 2 apiece. This is now a really close game, you know. Even though Azumarill Charizard are down below half, you know, that Gmax is up, and that could be really big. The Kingler comes out. We know how strong that is with Crabhammer and the Drifblim. Now, what can Drifblim do in that position, you know? It's very weak to maybe a Max Rockfall or something if that Charizard's running one. But you know, which mon is Dave gonna target here? You know, he's in a bit of a difficult spot with his mons being so low down on health. If he can take out that King, but the Thunderbolt comes out from the Drifblim. Azumarill's gone. Crabhammer missing. You know, that's a very big oof moment, and super effective Max Rockfall damage takes out the Drifblim. It is 1v1. Tailwind is unfortunately still up, which is going to make that Kingler just about faster. If he can hit that Crabhammer on the Charizard, it's gone, and there it is. Crabhammer comes out. It is tied 1 apiece. Really close game, that second game. And we're running straight into game 3. We're going to see that G-Max Charizard come out right from the off, and the Azumarill pops off as well. Blastoise, Talonflame, the same lead from Lat. All to play for now. You know, the decider game, who is going to win this tightly, hotly contested clash. Charizard goes big, the Tailwind comes out. Water Spout hits, takes Charizard just below half. Max Overgrowth comes out, doesn't quite take out the Blastoise. That gets that grassy terrain up. Scald comes out, activates that Pass or Berry from Talonflame, does a little bit more this time. You know, just a tad bit more. Talonflame now down below half. And again, very even in game, but a very fast-paced start compared to the other games. Yeah, you know, I will admit that Max Overgrowth not killing the Blastoise was huge. You know, it's got to have been a roll for that to have not killed. You know, and I'm guessing not having the stab. Oh, I think the footage just sticks here. Yeah, there we go. I got a little bit worried there. The Kingler swaps in though. That is a great switch in. Aqua Jet hits the Kingler, does no damage. Scald comes out on the Blastoise, and that G-Max Charizard is gone. So what has Dave got up his sleeve now? That is now 4v3. Dusknoir comes out, gets that Frizz, finds the Assault Vest and the Rindo Berry. The Assault Vest, I'm guessing, is what kept that Blastoise in tow in this game. So, what can that Dusknoir do? If it can get Trick Room going, there's obviously no taunt on the side of Latvian now that Talonflame has been swapped out. Skulls comes in. That Protect comes out clutch, the knockoff on the clutch as well. Misty Explosion though doesn't take out the Kingler or the Blastoise. And that is now 4v2. That is very unlucky. I think Dave was really hoping that Misty Explosion would at least take out the Blastoise in that situation, but not quite enough. You know, that grassy terrain recovery has managed to keep Latvian in the game. And now Dave is going to need that Trick Room to go up to do anything here. Scald comes out, does about 5% damage, but does get that burn up. The red card comes out. That is the Blastoise swapped out. Talonflame comes back in, Body Press hits from the Kingler, and that Trick Room goes up, and that is huge. We only have one turn of Tailwind left, which is now gone. But, you know, I think Latvian's team is much speedier than on Dave's side. If that Steelix can get going, we could really have a game on our hands here. That Kingler and Talonflame looking kind of low. Obviously, you know, Blastoise on the side of Lat is looking kind of low. And then it's sort of a toss-up of what he's going to have next, you know. Is it going to be that Cinderace? Is it going to be the Drifblim? Is that Kangaskhan going to come out in that 4th slot? You know, what are we going to see here from the side of Lat to maybe save the game? You know, it might be 4v2, but it's certainly not over yet. That Body Press comes out, takes out Kingler. Rock Slide hits on the side of Talonflame, and that is 2v2, all to play for now. That Dusknoir is in a bit of a spot. It's burnt and it's pretty low in health, but you know, that Steelix, it can do all the work here. Blastoise comes out on low health. That Drifblim is at full health, so it's entirely even. You know, the Dusknoir and Blastoise have the same amount of health. Drifblim and Steelix have the same amount of health. You know, who can? And the Drifblim Dynamax's Protect comes out on the side of Dusknoir. Fake Out hits the Steelix. That is huge. Max Phantasm hits the Dusknoir. That is Dusknoir out of there, and that's a defense drop on Steelix. And this is now, that Fake Out, I think, is going to really hurt Dave in this scenario. You know, if Steelix gets a move off there, it's going to be 1v1. But, so the Body Press comes out on Steelix. It's 1v1. Max Phantasm hits the Steelix. It is now down to about 10-15% health. And I think that is going to be game for Latvian. Really, really well played on the side of Lat. And a brilliant game 3. You know, you can't ask for fairer than that. Lat gets the win. Hotly contested match. You know, it's no more than I expected from either coach. Both obviously looking to get that 2-0 start. It does go out to Latvian, unfortunately, on the side of Dave. So Newcastle Thundurus now 1-1, and Miami Heat now at that 2-0 score. I said unfortunately the forfeit did come out on the side of Lat, but you know, it happens. Mistakes happen in the league. Still trying to sort of wear through any kinks with the coaches and stuff. So you know, we let that pass. The forfeit went off. Both guys were happy to play game 3, so you know, we resolved that. We're not going to waste any more time. That was a fantastic game 1 to open us up. And our next game is another strong game. So we've got our boys. Oh, sorry. Jump the gun there. We've got Bulu Boys versus Shadow Kings. Bulu Boys, obviously, last week, that would be my team. Really strong start. Really strong start. Obviously, that 10-1 double kill against the Inglorious Surfers really did the work. You know, I think on my side, I was certainly looking to continue that form. Was able to blisteringly win the game 2 as well in 4 or 5 turns. So, you know, I was feeling pretty confident. Obviously, on the side of Dogsy, he did lose that week 1 game against Big Dog Dave 2-0. It was a bit of a washout. You know, I think it was still relatively close, but those 2 mistakes on the side of Dogsy really hurt him. Obviously, on Dogsy's side, he does have that G-Max Butterfree, which can really play spoiler with that G-Max Befuddle. You know, I'd be expecting to see that again this week. He might... I would think he's going to swap things up. I don't know whether we'll see that Hitmon lead or that Slurp off again, but you've got to think that NDD Mail comes out and, you know, we might see potentially Excadrill run with Mienshao or Galarian Weezing. Or could we see the Perish Trap, you know, that Wobbuffet? It can't really do a lot offensively, but, you know, just with its ability, obviously, it traps the other team in. Parasong can come out of Politoed, and the other team is then on a countdown clock to get, you know, 3 turns to get the kills off and hopefully survive. On the side of Bulu Boys, you've got to think that G-Max Centre Scorch comes in, you know, again, that trapping ability with its Centre Fenno comes in huge. I don't know whether there's going to be too much swapping in the sides. You know, I think that Diggersby, Heracross, Rillaboom sort of trio is just so strong in support of Centre Scorch, but you know, it does got to be careful. Obviously, the Rillaboom and Heracross both weak to flying moves. You know, that Butterfree is going to have that max Airstream. It's going to have the Air Slash. And the potential for acrobatics to come out from, you know, a Hitmonlee or Mienshao. So, you know, it does got to be careful. So we're not going to waste too much time getting into the next game. Let's load it up. I'll turn the music down. I know it was a little bit loud for you guys in that first game. And on the side of Shadow Kings there, you can see the Weezing, the Excadrill, Mienshao, Politoed, and Poliwhirl there alongside the Butterfree. And on the side of Matt, it's a very shocking lead. Heracross and Ice Cube. Excadrill, Mienshao on the side of Dogsy. I'm very shocked to see that. You know, the Ice Cube, I'm guessing, you're going to be guessing is going to go for that Belly Drum and try and Dynamax, as long as that Centre Scorch isn't in the back. But, you know, if Dogsy can get any kind of speed control up here, that Ice Cube's giving me a world of trouble. You know, 2 physical attackers. You know, if there were special attackers, Ice Cube would also be in a bit of bother. But you can see myself sort of umming and ahhing about what decisions to make here. But, you know, which is Dogsy going to Dynamax? Are we going to see that Excadrill go big, get that Sandstream up and get that speed boost? Are we going to maybe see the Mienshao go big? And the Mienshao does Dynamax. It gets that max Airstream off that Heracross is gone. That is a 1-hit KO, and that is an awful start. Ironhead comes out, knocks out the Ice Face from Ice Cube. Is obviously able to take that 1 physical hit. Belly Drum comes out, but it's now in a world of trouble. If he's got no Protect off on the side of Ice Cube, it's entirely open to a physical attack, and it's looking real bad here. This is not the start Matt was wanting. Rillaboom comes out though, sets up the grassy terrain and gets that defense buff. The side of Dogsy though now has all the speed. You know, that Excadrill can do so much work, and you know, if a Max Rockfall potentially comes out now, that Excadrill is going to be going so fast. It's going to be like Lightning McQueen, and it's going to be pretty hard to stop. Ice Cube goes large, Protect comes out from Excadrill, that Grassy Guard comes out, the Excadrill's protected. That's not good. The Max Rockfall hits the Ice Cube and it is gone. It is out of there. The Sandstorm comes up, the Excadrill is going to get that speed buff. Everyone's going to get hit for that Sandstorm damage. The Grassy Terrain does rejuvenate it though, and that is an awful start. 2 turns in, 2 mons down on the side of Matt. It's exactly the opposite of what happened last week. This is a tragic start. You know, I don't think that Matt was expecting that lead from Dogsy, and as bringing that Ice Cube is just it's not being good. You know, I think he was hoping that Heracross is going to be faster, and it's went straight out. That Mienshao is super fast. So what can Diggersby do here? Because Diggersby as well, you know, is going to be weak to to a fighting move or any of Excadrill's moveset. Does get a protect from that Excadrill. The Grassy Glide comes out, takes Excadrill down to about 10% health. That Poison Jab hits, Rillaboom down to below 50%. Max Knuckle comes out, is going to get that attack buff, which is really, really, really scary on the side of Dogsy. That Matt is now in a lot of trouble. You know, that Rillaboom down below half health. Diggersby is now obviously already used that protect, is not got that available. And Dogsy still has all 4 months here, and it's looking very scary. You know, what can Matt do in this position? You know, 2v4 on 3 turns. Not even 1-1 down on the side of Dogsy, and you know, what can Diggersby really and really do in this situation? Grassy Guard comes out, takes Mienshao down to about 5% health. The Rock Slide hits, doesn't quite do as much damage. Excadrill obviously has that life orb. The high jump kick comes out from Mienshao though. That is the Diggersby gone. Mienshao does die to the Sandstorm damage. Excadrill just about hanging on from that life orb hit, and that Rillaboom now has got it all to do. 20% health it's sat there on. A really challenging position. I don't know that Rillaboom can really 1v3 in this scenario. It's looking, it's certainly looking like curtains. Excadrill is now joined by Politoed, who sets up that rain. Grassy Glide could be really good here against the Politoed, but you've got to think, you know, if that Excadrill can do some damage, it's over for Rillaboom. It's already got the attack buff and the speed buff. The protect comes out. So what you didn't see there is I unfortunately skipped the 10, but the double protect came out, which gave Rillaboom a little bit of a health buff there at the end there from the grassy terrain. But I think it's just delaying the inevitable at this point. Rillaboom is going to get that Grassy Glide off, I'm presuming, but which one is he going to get it off on? I think either way, no matter what he's hit with here, Politoed is going to have, or Excadrill is going to have the advantage. Politoed goes down to Grassy Guard. Iron Head comes out from Excadrill, and that is 1-0 to Shadow Kings. Awful start on the side of Matt, and that's a great start for Dogsy. You know, he needed that rejuvenation after last week, and he's come out swinging, started strong. And into game 2, we have Centre Scorcher and Diggersby on the side of Matt, and Politoed Poliwhirl on the side of Dogsy. That double poly starter, you know, that rain buff is going to be really huge on that side. I'd imagine one of them is going to be running a physical sort of build. What can Scent Scorch and Diggersby do here? Obviously, Scent Scorch and Diggersby both at a big water type disadvantage. Both kind of weak to it. And I don't know that Diggersby can really do anything on its side, to be honest. But Scent Scorch, you know, could maybe be running that grass move, which would give it a max overgrowth. And you know, it could potentially get a kill here. Centre Scorch goes G-Max, Poliwhirl goes D-Max, Helping Hand comes out on the side of Politoed, Protect from the Diggersby, Max Nook on the side of Poliwhirl, giving that attack buff. Protect comes out, that does about 25% damage, but it's that attack buff that matters. And the max overgrowth from Centre Scorch, that is Politoed gone. The grassy terrain goes up, and of course with Dogsy not bringing that in DD, it's going to be very hard for him to reset that terrain. You know, he's not got much on that side that he could do any terrain resets from. And that is one down for the side of Dogsy. That's a much better start on the side of Matt. Mienshao now does come out on the side of Dogsy. We know how problematic that was game 1. What can it do this time without the Dynamax? You know, it's going to have potentially acrobatics and a rock slide. Max Guard comes out. Diggersby's hit with the Max Knuckle. That is Diggersby gone, and that is a 2 times attack buff for Poliwhirl and a 1.5 times attack buff for Mienshao. Acrobatics does come out, but that Max Guard from the Centre Scorch coming in real clutch there. Rillaboom comes out, gets that defense buff from the Grassy Seed. What can Rillaboom do here? You've got to think that Poliwhirl's potentially running Eviolite in this scenario, so, you know, it's even how strong that Rillaboom is, it's not going to do that much. It takes it just below half. Poliwhirl hits Rillaboom with a max hailstorm. It just about survives. Acrobatics comes out from Mienshao, hits the Centre Scorch. Centre Scorch hits with the Sentiferno. That is Mienshao gone. But that hail damage is going to take Rillaboom out, and it is now 2v2. Again, another close game. That D-Max and G-Max both ends on the side of Poliwhirl and Centre Scorch. Poliwhirl does have that 2 times attack buff, and in comes Excadrill. What can Excadrill do on the side of Dogsy? He's positioned very well to maybe get a rock slide or something along those lines off on the Centre Scorch. Poliwhirl, you know, it's got that attack buff. It's maybe not going to be the fastest, but if it can get a move off, it's going to do a lot of damage. But if that Heracross moves first, that Excadrill is going to be in a world of trouble. You know, one close combat on the side of Heracross, and that Excadrill is going to be out of there. So what are we going to see here from both sides? You know, it's a very even, a bit like Dave versus Lat. You know, we've got a 2v2 where both sides are pretty much evenly matched health-wise. It's going to be just about who has that speed control, who can move first. Protect comes out from Centre Scorch. Close combat on the Excadrill. That Excadrill is gone, and that Poliwhirl is now left all alone, all on its lonesome. Heracross gets that Moxie. Hypnosis comes out from the Heracross, but the Lungberry coming in clutch from Heracross. He wakes up from that sleep, and that is going to be game. What a clutch item on the Heracross. Is able to, you know, it stops any status effects coming out. Close combat hits the Poliwhirl, and that is gone. And that is one apiece now. We are tied, going with another game 3. You know, we went all last weekend without any game 3s, and here we are 2 games in, and we've got 2 already. Are we going to see a similar lead? So in comes Heracross and Centre Scorch, a bit of a different lead in the side of map, and Mienshao and Excadrill, the dream team from that game 1, come out. Obviously trying to repeat that winning formula that worked so well in game 1. So what can Matt do this time, and what can Dogsy do this time? Can he repeat that form that won him that game 1? Mienshao Dynamaxes and Centre Scorch G-Maxes. That's going to be big. Heracross comes in with the Protector Max. Airstream is going to be coming out from the Mienshao. Heracross is going to live that through the Protect, and that is a speed boost on their side. And the Centinferno comes out on the side of Matt. Takes Excadrill down to about below health, but he's going to get that Centinferno damage, and that is now Mienshao and Excadrill locked in. They can't swap out now. They're trapped in. So, you know, Dogsy's got to do all the work with that Mienshao and Excadrill duo. If Mienshao can maybe get that max Rockfall up again, you know, that Centre Scorch is going to be in a little bit of bother, and that Excadrill is going to get that extra speed buff. Not that it needs to be any faster. I think Heracross is kind of is bait at this point. You've got to think Matt's going to be resigned to letting this go down. Max Rockfall comes out, hits the Centre Scorch, but that Charty Berry does enable it to live. The Rock Slide comes out, it misses the Centre Scorch, takes out the Heracross. That miss could be really huge though. Centinferno comes out and hits the Mienshao. Oh, that is so huge. You've got to think that Rockfall hits after the Charty Berry's been activated, and that is Centre Scorch gone, and Heracross would have been gone. Rillaboom now comes out, sets that Grassy Terrain, gets that defense buff once again. You know, that Rillaboom is looking really strong. And Mienshao and Excadrill both in trouble. Obviously, one man down on the side of Matt. You know, the advantage isn't Dogsy, but if Dogsy can't stop Mienshao and Excadrill going down on that side, it's gonna be problems. And Matt is gonna have that advantage going into the rest of this game. Max Guard comes out in the Centre Scorch. Grassy Glide hits the Mienshao. Mienshao is gone. Rock Slide is obviously gonna not hurt the Centre Scorch to protect. Rillaboom is not really affected by that, but it does get hit by the Sandstorm damage. And the Centinferno damage is going to take out the Excadrill. That is so huge. That Rock Slide miss. You know, it's the way the cookie crumbles with Pokemon. The RNG coming in strong. And I would think that we're probably going to see the Politoed Poliwhirl on the side of Dogsy. Unless he's maybe brought the Galarian Weezing, who knows. But yes, there's the Politoed. There's the Poliwhirl. They're going to get the Drizzle off, which is going to give that Water type that buff. But Rillaboom has, you know, all the cards on his, you know, he's got all the cards that he needs on his side, and Politoed and Poliwhirl are in a bit of bother. You know, we know that Centre Scorch has a grass move as well. It's potentially going to be that Power Whip. Even though Centre Scorch is weak to the fire move, is weak to the water move. You know, if it can hit first, if it's got the speed over Politoed and Poliwhirl, there's going to be problems. Grassy Guard comes out, hits that Poliwhirl. That Poliwhirl is out of there. One hit kills. The Power Whip misses though. Another huge miss. Bounce comes out from the Politoed. That's an interesting move on the Politoed. You are going to see a double protect come out on the side of Matt, and that bounce is now just nullified. And you've got to expect now next turn that Grassy Glide is going to come out. Either way, the Power Whip would hit if the Grassy Glide does not. And that is going to be game, a really, really closely contested game. Again, both of our opening games, you know, really close stuff. You know, absolutely no complaints on my side. The Grassy Glide does come out, and that's the 2-1 victory for the side of Matt. Matt improving to that 2-0, and Dogsy now on that 0-2 start. You know, nobody wants to make an 0-2 start. as I've said many times, it is early days. There's still plenty of Pokemon to be played. I do keep repeating that because we've got another 12 weeks to go. So, Dogsy can't be too downhearted. We're going to try and get Dogsy in for a interview here if I can. I'll just ping him now. We might not get him straight away. We'll see if he's available. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, a really, really great game from both sides. GG's to Dogsy. I really enjoyed that one. Personally, from my side, obviously, I'm not going to interview myself here, but I saw the Glare Weezing, the Poliwhirl, the Politoed, and it was just not what I was expecting. It really threw me off, and I was like, I figured the Glare Weezing might come out, and I was like, right, I've got a counter for that. And bringing the Ice Cube ended up being a really, really bad move. And I'll be honest, I just did not expect the Dynamax from the Mienshao. And when it did Dynamax, I didn't expect it to have a flying move. I didn't know it would have acrobatics. And that ended up being curtains for us. We'll give Dogsy a minute to see if we can get him in for a quick interview here. Oh, and Latvian's here for an interview as well too. We'll speak to Lat. Why not? Lat, if you're here, if you just jump in voice chat, and I'll run in there for you. We'll pause that music, and we'll get to the interview screen. All right, we'll just wait for Lat. Sure, it won't be long. Just let him know that we're waiting in there. Let's see if we can get a hold of our boy. But yeah, it was a really strong game one from Dogsy. I can't take anything away from it, whether I was prepared or not. He played really great. As I said, that game 3, if that rock slide comes out on the side of Excadrill, it's probably looking like curtains on the side of okay. Let's see if we can grab a hold of him. But yeah, so we'll throw it in an interview with that, and then we'll try and get Dogsy around. If not, we'll move on. We've got plenty of Pokemon still to watch. 2 more games for y'all to sit and listen to. Latvian, hello.
Yo, what's up, man?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. How's it going?
Yeah, cool, man. What about you?
Good. Yeah, I'm doing great, thank you. First of all, congratulations on your win yesterday.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you've made that 2-0 start now. Was that the perfect start you were hoping for? Did you have any sort of concerns with how you were gonna start, or were you just confident from the off? You were like, yeah, I'm gonna smash this from.
Yeah, I was confident, but the only thing I was thinking about was White Herb, because that can reverse the taunt I put on Dustclub. So that would be the only problem I was thinking about. But because he saw my match with Gus.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think he would bring it. He would think I would go for Cinderace and Kangaskhan.
Yes.
So
yeah. Well,
I expected something else, so I went for something else too.
Yes. Well, like I mean, I'll be honest. I expected it from your side. I was like, oh, the Cinderace Kangaskhan's gonna come out. It's gonna do a lot of work. That Kangaskhan just absolutely bopped Gus week 1, unfortunately for Gus. I'll be honest, I wasn't really aware of what Scrappy did, but now I know what it does. I'm now terrified of it.
Yeah, Kangaskhan is really underestimated. It's a really good Pokemon, man. It's solid. It's definitely solid.
Yeah, so obviously you said you changed your sort of lineup against Dave. So what was your game plan going into playing against Dave? Did you have anything in mind, or did you just did you have something in mind to counter him, or were you just sticking with the game plan that you sort of made with your team?
I definitely wanted to counter Trick Room. That was the only big problem from his team against mine. And if I could counter Trick Room, it was game for me because I had water types, I had fighting types. I mean, I had fire types. He was at the big disadvantage as long as I didn't put the Trick Room on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I blocked the Trick Room and I kind of get the win.
Yeah, as soon as that tailwind went up and you got the taunt on the side of on Dustmar, it was game over. I'll be honest, I don't think he was expecting you to bring Blastoise. I think that really screwed with him. So he entirely planned on bringing Charizard, but once that Blastoise come out, it was like panic.
Blastoise was a beast. He really did well, especially that attack of his, that water spout.
Water spout is so good.
That combo is amazing, man. I really love Blastoise for it, and it's one of my favorite Pokemon. So yes, I'm glad I got to draft it this season.
Yeah, yes, you've got a really good draft. I've spoke to Dogsy a little bit about your team, and he was saying that this is sort of like pretty much the sort of team you've been playing quite a bit recently. Is that right?
Yeah, I also played the draft. The Players Cup. I always use the same team for it, and I really got a great ranking with it.
Oh, really? So nice.
After I got this team with it, with the draft, I really was confident about it because
you have so much experience.
I couldn't wish for anything better.
Yeah, you have so much experience playing with those Pokemon. You know what makes them tick. Yeah, great. So obviously going into next week, let's see. Sorry, who are you playing next week? Let's see. So you have let's see. You've got Toed Star Belgrade next week, which is Wio's team. Obviously, Wio's team has got that Dragapult G-Max Colossal combo. What are sort of your thoughts going into next week? Do you think you can continue this form? Do you have any sort of is there anything you're sort of concerned about on the side of Wio, or do you think you just, as like this week, you're gonna just stick to the game plan and?
Yeah, well, the biggest concern for me is that G-Max Colossal, because when that thing goes on, I mean, it's unstoppable. It's the one that kills everything, and it's the biggest threat for my team at this moment.
Yeah, that steam engine is huge.
I'm trying to think something to counter that, but I'm not sure what I will use yet. Yeah, but I'm sure I will come with something.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got something up your sleeve to counter it.
I will surprise you guys. Don't worry about it. It will be a great match.
And
he won this. Yeah, he won his last match too, right? This week.
He won his match this week. Yeah, we've still got that match to sort of show on the stream yet, but he did pick up the victory. You will see. There's a surprise mon on his team that I won't put any spoilers out that got a lot of the kills.
I'll just say it was a great match. It was very enjoyable.
We'll speak a bit about it when I get on that match, but he did very well to win. So yeah, how are you feeling about the season on a whole? Like, do you feel confident that you're gonna be able to continue this form and take it all the way to playoffs, or do you think obviously after week 7 we've got there's going to be a period of free agency where people are going to be able to pick up any mons that haven't been drafted and they're able to make trades. Do you think once those trades come in, do you think there's going to be a different sort of meta that comes out, or like, do you think it's not going to matter and you're still going to be able to just keep the farm going?
It can definitely change the tides. Also because everyone will see how people play. I mean, the first battles, it will be a surprise for everyone because no one knows how each one battles. After 6 weeks, I mean, everyone gets a kind of idea of how the trainers play and how the trainers battle. So absolutely. I think it will definitely be amazing. Yeah. After the drafts and after the trades.
Absolutely, and so we were saying, after these first couple of weeks, once people see sort of what people are typically bringing and how they play, it's going to give people a better idea of what we're expecting. Obviously, on the website, you're able to see type advantages and disadvantages those teams have. If you're able to prepare properly, I think you're in a really good stead. And I think what I've noticed as well is people who've prepared, it really shows that they've prepared, and people who haven't prepared, it's also pretty crystal clear that they haven't prepared. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I mean, I also understand because everyone has a job and a life.
Oh, absolutely.
You have a little more time, and another week you have a little less time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm sure, but I did have the feeling that Dave wasn't very prepared against me. I mean, he also had a red card trick, right? So
Yeah, he had red card on Dusknoir, yeah.
yeah, but it doesn't work on D-Max Pokemon, right? Or does it?
No, it doesn't. Yeah,
It doesn't.
it
Yeah.
doesn't. No,
Okay.
it's one thing we were talking about yesterday when we were all in chat that really annoyed me. There's like the certain items and abilities that just don't work on Dynamax, and I find that really frustrating.
Yeah, it was. It was. I was gonna thinking about it because I was when he brought it, I was kind of scared from. Oh shit, maybe it does work on the D-Max Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I didn't even D-Max when I saw it, but it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
yeah, it wouldn't work either way.
No, no. I know David done a little bit of practice on Showdown, on the ladder. So he'd done a little bit of prep work. I think he sort of knew how he wanted to play. But I mean, I can't say it like to both you yourself and Dave. Yeah, Dave was saying, yeah, I thought it went on D-Max. Yeah.
It had me doubting too, so
Yeah.
I understand the feeling. I understand the thinking.
I think all three of the games were super close, especially that game 2, right down to the wire, and game 3 as well. So it was a really great game to watch. Obviously, two really talented coaches, and we'll be excited to see how you both do for the rest of the league. But that's going to do it for now. Thank you very much for popping in the interview. I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome, Matt. Thank you.
Yeah,
it was an amazing experience. Thank you for hosting.
No worries, man. It's good to hear from you. And we're gonna jump in an interview with Dogsy. So I'll let you go, and we'll have a quick word with Dogsy.
Sure thing, buddy. See you around.
See you at.
Cheers.
All right, Dogsy. Hello.
Hello, Matt.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm going good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all.
Good. So obviously you had a pretty close loss to myself yesterday, and you've made that 0-2 start. How are you feeling after the first 2 weeks? What's going through your mind right now?
I'm never phased, you know what I mean? I mean, these are things that happen, ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
Week 1 was my fault. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying Dave played very well, so don't. I'm not taking that win away from them.
No, of course
but,
not.
I made mistakes in not understanding the rules fully because I had forgotten. I had read them, but then they weren't visual to me, so I'd forgotten.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I mixed up my play yesterday, and I thought I was playing pretty well, to be honest.
Oh, definitely.
And likewise yourself, ups and downs happen, and it didn't go in my favour. Obviously, for it not to have gone in my favour, you had to play very well, which you did.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So it's not. I can't say it's hacks or bad lucks because I'm not one of those sort of people. Because if it was just hacks or bad luck, I would have still won, regardless.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So you played well too, which is ultimately it's how it happens. So
that's the way it comes down to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun battle.
Absolutely.
I don't really think that battles are about just sweeping someone
No.
all the time. Obviously, it's nice to win that way, but it just kind of gets mundane and repetitive if there's no challenge to it. So it was an interesting battle. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, same on my side. And I think all three games were. I mean, maybe not so much game 1, but especially game 2 and 3 were really close. I did mention during commentary that bit of RNG that where Rock Slide did miss. I know you've said that obviously these things happen, but it was that's pretty much how close it was. If that Rock Slide goes off, it's an entirely different game. If it doesn't, then and you were still in it. To be honest, in that game 3, it was I still only had 2 mons left. It was just the only 2 mons on your side were the Politoed and the Poliwhirl.
Yeah, I regret not bringing the Weezing because the reason I didn't is I had anticipated you were going to play more of a ground game.
Right.
So
okay.
instead of going with neutralizing gas, I put it to have levitate. You see, for yesterday's game.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I didn't bring it out because if it had neutralizing gas, I might have been able to slot because obviously Rillaboom wouldn't have had priority, with the Grassy Glide.
Exactly. Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, I can't just say that. I'm not salty about it at all. Like I said, wins and losses happen. I enjoyed it. I'm just gonna have to come back from it. We play each other twice anyway.
Yeah,
everyone
twice, and there's still, as I've already said, there's plenty of Pokemon to play still. Even the first half of this season 1, there's still 5 weeks to go. You could easily go ahead and win all 5 of the rest of your games. So, it's certainly not over. We've still got a long time till playoffs. So.
Yeah, definitely.
And said you played very well yesterday, I sat in the voice chat and was discrediting, saying I wasn't expecting the Mian Show and whatnot, but like just to predict that and just take me out with the airstream, that was really smart plays. So yeah, I was all credit to yourself. You did very well.
Yeah, thanks. Like I said, anything can happen, and I wanted to mix it up from last week. I'm looking forward to seeing, how the rest of them play out anyway. So, yeah, it was a fun battle.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree. So going on to sort of the rest of the league, obviously next week, your game is against Gus's Aurora Akuno. Do you think there's going to be anything you're going to be doing differently for next week, or do you think you're going to prepare something specifically for Gus's team, or?
I think what I'm going to do differently to how I've done it every other week is midweek this week. So I usually leave my preparations towards the end of the week, mostly because I try not to get too involved with playing. If I start playing, I get carried away. So I think what I'll do is I might have a look at his team a bit early on in the week and see how I want to play it. It definitely did make a difference, especially in the game against you yesterday, like I said.
Yes, absolutely.
So I watched your battle. I was anticipating, you bringing out Diggersby and Heracross.
Yes.
I was a bit worried about, what do you call it, Ditto, to be honest. I'm really surprised you didn't bring that out. That is another reason why I had Polytoad and also had, Levitate on the Weezing. I was expecting you. Maybe I don't know if you had it behind you in game 2. I can't remember.
No.
Did I see all 4 pokes? I think no. Actually, I did see all 4 pokes, didn't I? So yeah. So that was one that sort of defined how I played the battles as well. But it didn't come out ultimately, and that's how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like that's the thing with us was having obviously we have the main 6, we have a Gmax, and then we have 4 subs, and you can swap in week by week different ones to cater against a specific opponent. I think that's what makes it really interesting. It makes it less likely that you're going to see the same lineups every week, and it's asking a lot of the coaches. They've got to look at what happened last week, but then they've got to prepare for is there going to be any changes.
Well, I've made my full team all 11 battle ready now. I've got
Right.
them all with different moves
yeah.
and setups. But I did that yesterday after losing to you.
All right.
but I haven't looked at Gus's team yet to see how I want to change it. All I've done for now is made sure I've got 11 pokes there, which all could go into a battle, and then 100%. I'm going to try and redefine it, based on who I'm playing up against.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good strat to go along. So, going back to your team, so you obviously you didn't bring the Gmax Butterfree this week. What were your thoughts behind not bringing it? Just was it didn't match up very well against my team, or just?
No, to be honest, I thought it would have been a good play to have brought it out, but because the definitive part of it was, that if you bring it out, you have to Gmax it.
Yes, yeah.
I wanted to play the combination of Mianchao and Excadrill.
Right.
For the D-Max.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And also try out the Polytoad Polywhirl thing.
Absolutely.
Polytoad Polywhirl thing didn't really work out as well. I think there's still margin in it, but I didn't play it as well as it could have been done, because I didn't take into account priority attacks, which I didn't expect Rillaboom to still one-shot it though, because you had grassy seed on it. It's adamant. I still thought it would have survived one shot, and I was hoping to retaliate on it.
Right.
So that took me by surprise, because I know it's very beefy and strong, but I was not expecting that to have been able to take it out, to be honest. So that was good to see.
I agree with that. I'll be honest. Like, even though I knew Poliwell was gonna have Eviolite, I was like, I was pretty confident it would at least take out that. But I was like, a little bit of testing I'd done. I was like, oh man, I don't think it would one shot Politoad though. Like Politoad's typically pretty bulky. So yeah, I mean the same here. I was very shocked to see it to Oko, to be honest. Certainly didn't expect it.
Yeah, so I mean, it was like I said, your team was built very well. In terms of moving forward, like I said, it's interesting. I think everybody who's in it shouldn't disregard, past performances, even the bottom of the league. Because if you like that, there's no fun in the game anyway.
Oh,
Even if
exactly.
you've got no chance of winning, which I think everybody still
Everyone's
has a
still in
chance
with
of
it,
coming back in it.
100%.
But even if you didn't, I think you should still give it your all.
Yeah,
Because that's
exactly.
what makes it fun.
Well, in regards to that, once we get to playoffs, even the coaches that finish in that bottom four, they're not down and out. Obviously they can come through losers bracket and make it to grand finals and still win the whole thing. So it's still, even if you have a bad main season, it's still all to play for. I don't think anyone should discredit any other team or coach from winning.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just gonna be about who turns up on the day and what team they bring. That's going to do it for my interview today, Dugsy. I appreciate your time, and GG's for yesterday.
Cool, not at all. Yeah, GG.
Yeah,
well
man.
played.
Well played, and we'll speak to you probably next week.
Alright,
my
cool.
dude.
Yeah, take it easy, mate.
You
See you
too.
in a bit.
See you later, man. Alright, my guys. We're going to move into that game 3. So, whoops. Jumping the gun again. Game 3. We've got that bottom table clash. Again, thank you very much for Dogsy for stopping by the interview. Do really appreciate that. But we've got that game 3 coming up for you now. It's between Inglorious Surfers and Toed Star Belgrade. Obviously, both coaches lost their opening round last weekend. So this is the quote-unquote bottom of the table clash. It's going to be a really exciting one. I would think that, Aaron obviously has that GMAX Hatterene on that side. And that Ndidi, Amoongus with the redirect as well. And the Gigalith. I think you're going to see something different from Aaron. You're for sure going to see changes to his side. And I think the same for Toed Star Belgrade. Whether we see that colossal Dragapult setup again, I don't know. Obviously, it didn't work so great for him last week. But obviously on his side, Duraludon, Seismitoad, Glycopod can do so much work. And you can never count out that Serena. On Aaron's side, that Bolton could come in clutch if it's a support Bolton. Gastrodon, if it can get going, it's very Trick Room heavy setup, but if Aaron's able to get, stop a taunt or stop his Trick Room one from going down 10-1, he can get that Trick Room up. Aaron can pretty much sort of run house if he's able to get that Trick Room up. So we're gonna pause the music here. We're gonna get into that game, that match 3, game 1 here, and as you can see, it's different on both sides. Weo has brought something different. Aaron's brought something different. We see the Serena and Glycopod launch from the side of Weo, and a Amoongus and a Rangaroo on the side of Aaron. As you can see, Aaron has not brought that GMAX Hatterene, which is really huge. That GMAX Hatterene, if it's able to get the GMAX Smite off, can be really big, get the confusion. But also, no GMAX Colossal on the side of Weo. Really, really huge. I'll just turn down the music a touch there. I know it was a bit loud for you guys. What we're going to see on their side, obviously, because of internet issues, we aren't running a timer in this game, so if there is gaps in between turns and stuff, I do apologise. Protect comes out from the Oranguru, stops that first impression from the Glycopod. Taunt comes out from the Serena, and that Amoongus is not able to get the Spore off or Rage Powder, and that could be really, really huge for Weo. He stopped that going up, and he swaps him out. Gigalith comes in with a Sandstream. Power Whip hits the Oranguru from the side of Weo, and Aguero Glycopod, it takes it out with a Leech Life. That Oranguru is gone. That Trick Room setter is now out of there on the side of Aaron. That is problems already for Aaron turn 2. And Amoongus comes back on the field. Obviously, you'd be hoping to get that Spore, Rage Powder, or something along those lines set up. The quicker you can get that off, the more work you can do. If you can Rage Powder and stop that Gigalith from getting hurt, that would be good. But also, you've got to remember that Rage Powder does not affect grass types. So, if we're going to see any kind of move come out from that Serena on the Gigalith, then that Rage Powder is not going to matter. And again, Aaron is going to be in some troubles. Obviously, we know Gigalith ran that weakness policy last week. So you've got to expect that's going to be coming out again. And Aaron could potentially still run house with that Gigalith once it gets going with that weakness policy. Rage Powder comes out. The Max Overgrowth hits the Gigalith. And no weakness policy on the side of the Gigalith. That's very surprising to me. Max Quake comes out. It doesn't really do much to the Serena. But obviously that Spit Death boost is what's important. And obviously the Leech Life hit the Amoongus, did about half damage. That Glycopod is doing so much work on the side of Weo. What can Aaron do from this position? Obviously no speed control. Max Overgrowth comes out. Gigalith down to about 5% HP. That Leech Life comes out and that Amoongus is gone. Glisopod replenishes its health a little bit there. Max Quake comes out, resists that. That's Spadef Goose comes out again for the side of Gigalith. But you've got to think, with so little health, it's not going to really matter at this point. That Glisopod with 2 kills already. And out comes Rotom Frost. Something we really weren't expecting, I think I would have thought Scrafty or Gastrodon would make an appearance. But no, there's that Rotom Frost. Pretty tanky Rotom Mon. If it can get a Blizzard hit, that's going to do quite a bit of damage on the side of that Serena if you can take it out. Max Knuckle comes out on the side of Weo, takes that Rotom down to about half that. The Rotom eats a Citrus Berry. Blizzard comes out, it misses the Glisopod, and the Serena has the Yachi Berry. It negates that ice damage, does hardly anything to it. The Gigalith's taken out by the Iron Head. And it is now 1v4 on the Rotom Frost. This has been another awful start on the side of Aaron. We're 4 or 5 turns in, and there's not even a Mun went down on the side of Weo. That Power Whip comes out. That is game 1 over and done with. Weo taking a quick lead, 1-0. That Glisopod doing so much work. It got 3 kills out of the 4 in that game. We see the same lead come out again, Glisopod, Serena, and Rotom Frost Oranguru this time. Bit of a change up in lineup. If that Oranguru can get that Trick Room up, it's going to be pretty huge. You've got to think he's potentially running Mental Herb on there, so there's going to be no taunt able to come out on the side of Serena. But obviously Aaron does have to watch out for that first impression on the side of Glisopod on Weo's team. If that hits Oranguru, it's going to hit Super Effective, and it is out of there. It's going to be game, set, and match for that Trick Room. Serena goes big, Rotom Frost goes Dynamax as well. Protect comes out from the Oranguru, stops that first impression from going out. Rotom Frost is hit with a Max Knuckle. That's going to give the attack buff to both sides, both Mons on Weo's side. Max Hailstone comes out, and that Yachi Berry coming in clutch again does about 25% damage to that Serena, so it just tanks that hit. It has got the Hail set up, which is big. It's going to do that little bit of chip damage that you might need. Might make all the difference towards the end of the turn of the game. Amoonguss comes out for the place of Oranguru. Max Knuckle hits the Rotom Frost again. It's down to about 25% health. It eats that Citrus Berry. Max Hailstone comes out again, and Serena just tanks it. And Leech Life from the Glisopod, that 2 times attack. The Amoonguss is gone. That Glisopod is entirely set up now. It's just so strong physically. It's just going to be unstoppable at this point. Aaron is going to have to hard focus that Glisopod, or he's going to be in trouble. And that Serena's done really well to lift 2 Max Hailstorms from Rotom Frost. That's 2 stab moves. It's just don't seem to have done very much at all to Serena. It's obviously running a more bulky build. Oranguru comes back out. Max Guard from the Rotom. Max Knuckle obviously not going off because of that. And the Leech Life from the Glisopod. Oranguru's gone. That Glisopod is just running house. There's 2 more Mons to add to his tally of 3. That's 5 in total. Out is going to come the Gigalith. The Gigalith comes out, sets up that strong stream. It does replace the Hail, which is quite big. There's going to be no ice type buff now for the Rotom Frost. And it's now a 2v4 again. No one on the side of Weo gone down. Not even a kill. Weezing now comes out with that neutralizing gas. I think it's a bit too late now. Just stop that Serena going down. Protect comes out from the Rotom. The close combat from the Glisopod. Gigalith is gone. And it's now 1v4 Rotom Frost. It's a repeat of game 1. And oh no, Aaron. 10-4, here we are again. And it's a similarly awful start. Blizzard comes out, misses the Glisopod, does a bit of damage to the Weezing. Weezing gets the ban. Close combat is going to seal the deal. And that is game. Weo with the win, going 1-1 in the season now. And now Aaron is now at 0-2, making just the worst start possible. Aaron just very, very unfortunate on his side. I think that Weo's has done quite a bit of prep there, and obviously knew that Glisopod was going to have the advantage over Aaron's team. Obviously Aaron was wanting to get that Trick Room off, but that first impression hits the Oranguru, and it's going to go down, and the taunt's obviously going to come out. Not a lot he could do there. Obviously, the taunt from the Amoonguss coming in pretty big there. Sorry, the taunt on the Amoonguss, I should say, stopping that Rage Powder or that Spore going out. Again, that Spore goes up, he's going to be having problems. But if I'll be honest, if Wheel's running Sweet Veil on that Serena, I don't know how much it's going to have mattered, to be honest. You know, that means neither Mons on his side could get slept, and, you know, Spore would be just completely walled. We're not going to waste any more time. I feel like I say that a lot, but we're not going to waste any more time. We are going to run straight into our final game of the week. We've got Aurora Akuno versus Long Island Goomies. Obviously, Gus's team of Aurora Akuno didn't make the best of start. Lost out to Gus's Miami Heat. Latvians Miami Heat. Strong start from Gus wasn't able to sort of counter for that scrappy play from the Kangaskhan. And because he didn't have that speed control, it was just curtains for him. Obviously, a few different things he could run. You could see that Dusclops again, or maybe that Whimsicott is going to go for the Tailwind to set up that Lapras. Lapras is sat in that sort of nice middle ground where it's not too fast, not too slow. You know, you could see that T-Tar, Vikavolt come out again. Vikavolt could do a lot of work. It's pretty slow, but, you know, obviously that dual typing of Bug Electric can do quite a bit of damage. Executor alone, again, you know, that dual typing could come in clutch for him in here. And on the side of Silly's Long Island Goomies, obviously made that 1-0 start against Wheel last week. Surprising to everyone that Fletchling with the Tailwind, Gale Wings just coming in so clutch, getting that speed control, and Weavile, Drixel, and Eshfu doing all the damage. Will we see that G-Max come out on his side? Who knows? Obviously, there's a few different things he could run. I would think we're going to see that Weavile Fletching again. He could run Mashana to get that Trick Room set up. Decidueye is also a potential. You know, that Spirit Shackle could be huge to stop those swap outs. Alchemy with Decorate is also a potential problem for him. So we're gonna just get straight into it. We're gonna get straight onto our final game of the week. I'll just turn that volume down for y'all a tad bit. Hope that's okay for you. And as you can see, it's a completely different lineup for Silly. Pretty much the same as last week from Gus, but he does lead with that Whimsicott rather than the Dusclops on Langline that Lapras. And on the side of Silly, we've got Decidueye and Weavile. That Decidueye with that dual typing Ghost Grass. Again, you know, because that Decidueye is going to D-Max. The Protect comes out from the side of Lapras. Fake Out on the side of Weavile. Max Overgrowth hits the Lapras, is going to activate that Weakness policy. The Flinch stops any Trick Room or Tailwind going up on the side of Gus, which could be really big. If Gus isn't able to hit first here, or Decidueye gets a killing blow with Max Overgrowth, that main damage dealer on that team is going to be in a lot of trouble. Obviously, we can see that G-Max come out from Gus's side. Tailwind goes up, Brick Break hits before that Resonance goes out, but it's not going to matter. The Brick Break does enough damage, and Max Overgrowth takes it out. The Tailwind is up on the side of Gus, but that Lapras is gone. Turn 2. And again, there's problems on the side of Gus. You know, Vikavolt is there, but is that Tailwind going to do enough for that Vikavolt to be fast enough to do any kind of damage to Decidueye? And you've still got Weavile on that side, and you can't count that out. It's such a strong physical attacker. Moonblast hits the Weavile, takes it down to about 20%. That Apricot Berry, though, is going to give this for Death Boost, but the Fling doesn't work to activate that Weakness policy. Max Phantasm hits the Vikavolt, and Air Slash from the Vikavolt activates the Weakness policy on Decidueye. And oh lordy, I think Silly was going for the Fling onto the Decidueye to activate the Weakness policy to give it that Death Boost, and obviously give that 2 times attack, 2 times special attack boost. Great idea from Silly. Unfortunately, not able to pull it off, which is unfortunate. But you know, he gets the Weakness policy anyway, and it's looking pretty strong on Silly's side. You know, he's 4v3 up. Moonblast hits from the side of the Whimsicott. That Decidueye is gone. Triple Axle hits the Vikavolt. That Vikavolt is now also gone. It's 3v2. What has Gus got left? What's he got in the back? What's it going to be? Fletchling comes out on the side of Silly, and that's that Dusclops. Dusclops and Whimsicott are the final 2 Mons on the side of Gus. What can he get going here? You know, unless he's running a more special attacking Whimsicott. You know, that Tailwind comes out from the Fletchling. Triple Axle is going to hit the Whimsicott, and it is gone. That Weavile doing so much work. That's about 2 kills that game. Rock Tomb is going to come out from Dusclops, but it's got absolutely no physical attack, and it's not going to really hurt that Fletchling with the Eviolite. Fletchling now with the Tailwind. It's going to give them complete speed control. Not that you need it against Dusclops, you know, one of the slowest Mons out there. it's not looking good on the side of Gus. Triple Axel comes out, takes it down to just above half. Taunt comes out though from the fletchling. That trick room's now not going to go up. And I think that is going to be curtains on the side of Gus. Triple Axel comes out, again, takes it a bit further down. Just about survives. Dual Wing Beat comes out from the fletchling. Is he going to get the kill? Oh, no, it just about survives. Rock Tomb not quite able to take off fletching. Does slow it down a little bit though. And what is going to happen here? I think this is game, unfortunately. Is Fletching or Weavile going to get the killing blow? Brick Break is immune, obviously, so he can get the kill with Dual Wing Beat. That is 1-0, and unfortunately, that is going to be game. I'll fill you in with what happened. Sadly, it was a complete honest mistake. Gus brought the wrong team to game 2. He brought a Dusclops with a completely different build, and it had the mental herb on. This unfortunately meant that Gus had to forfeit game 2. He was given the option to replay, but decided to honour it. You know, he said he made it was his mistake, and that's more than fair. You know, I appreciate the honesty. Silly is going to take that 2-0 win though, which is going to put him top of the league. You know, we'll take a quick look at that league table now. Obviously, that is the league table from last week. Here's the updated league table. Silly's Long Island Gummies sitting pretty at the top of the table. 2-0 with that 4-0 record. You know, he hasn't lost a single game yet. Followed up by Bulu Boys, myself, and Latvians Miami Heat. Both went 2-1 this week. So we're sat on the same sort of match difference. Following down the table, we've got Newcastle Thundurus and Toed Star Belgrade. Both sat on 1-1. Thundurus does have that sort of match win difference. He was able to win that game, obviously, this week through forfeit against Lat. Wheels Toed Star now sat on equal record. He's lost 2 games, won 2 games. And down at the bottom end of the table, we've got Shadow Kings, Aurora Aquino, and Inglorious Surfers all sat on 0-2. See, Shadow Kings were able to win that 1 game against Bulu Boys, so they're gonna on match difference are gonna just stick above in 6. But you know, Gus's Aurora Aquino and Inglorious Surfers have got a lot of work to do to bring it back. But we've said it plenty of times. I'm gonna say it again. It's all still to play for. You know, we're only in week 2. We've got another 12 weeks of Pokemon to play before we get to playoffs. And regardless of that, playoffs is going to give the chance to those teams low down the table to come back. So you can never count anyone out just because someone's sitting pretty there 2-0 already. You know, it's way too early to call it right now. I think you're going to see free agency is going to swap things around a bit as well. You might see a completely different meta form. But that is going to do us for today. As I said, Long Island Gummies going with all confidence into next week. And they will be playing Inglorious Surfers, Aaron's Inglorious Surfers, who are obviously sat there 0-2, no games won. It's a top of the table versus bottom of the table clash. You know, can Aaron potentially, you know, make the, you know, almost upset win and stop the Long Island Gummies from making the perfect start? Going from there, we've got Toed Star Belgrade against Miami Heat. Lat is going to be looking again to go 3-0. Wheels Toed Star are going to be trying to build on this week's form, try and get another win on the board. Lat obviously sounding very, very confident in his team and in his season so far. We then have Dogsy versus Zora Akuno. Another week, another bottom of the table clash. You know, both sat on 0-2, but, you know, both strong coaches, both strong teams. I think it's going to be just who does the most prep going this week. And, you know, they'll definitely change things up for the better. And hopefully, you know, say on Gus's side, you know, you could have argued he might have got something going for the rest of that game against Silly, but that forfeit did come out, unfortunately. And the final game of the week is arguably a big local derby. Obviously, me and Dave live very close to each other, but it's Newcastle Thundurus versus Bulu Boys. Dave's Thundurus obviously losing out marginally to Lat this week, sending a 1-1, and I was able to topple Dogsy's Shadow Kings to go 2-0. So personally, on a personal level, I'm going to be hoping to take Dave down, get that 3-0. I'm feeling pretty confident. I think I can get the win. Dave, I know, is going to be feeling just as confident though, so we can't count him out. You know, I'm looking forward to playing it, and it's going to be a great game. But that is going to be us for this week. Thank you all very, 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 very much for watching today. We'll be back next week, next Sunday, 1 p.m. for the same time for Week 3's games. As I've said, we've got a lot of exciting games to come next week, as always. Thank you very much for watching. I have been Matt Starr. See you all next week.